I remember this project years ago when it was just a small art project by a group of dedicated scientists, storytellers, journalists, and filmmakers from the Sea Change Project mission. And that project has gone on to publish books and art material and filled museums, but what the real pride and gem right now is this amazing documentary, My Octopus Teacher. And it won a BAFTA and an Academy from the American Academy. So it's like a double, which is unheard of and brilliant.
I mean, it's truly an exceptional film. Just first of all, let's look at the way it was shot. My understanding is that Craig Foster actually shot it free diving, in other words, no oxygen tanks. So a shot could only last as long as he could hold his breath, essentially. I would imagine that makes that beautiful footage even more remarkable.
Yes, they did bring in a professional photographer near the end of the when they realized they had a featured documentary. So they brought in Roger, who used a big red, I think, a red dragon, and they shot underwater to capture Craig in the shot, because most of Craig's filming was done as a scientist, storyteller. So he went down. Sometimes he would leave his camera on the ground and, you know, go back down later. Yes, only free diving. Craig only ever free dove, and his co-director, Pip, also free dove. But the cameraman they hired was with tanks, so he could stay down for those longer shots. But most of the animal footage, of course, was done by Craig long before the story was really understood.
It's interesting you mentioned the story because, as you say, it was sort of almost a science project in the beginning. And the way the story is actually told and unfolded as we go through the documentary is really quite powerful. And is that where directors Pippa Ehrlich and James Reed came in and sort of produced this work of magic?
Yes, I think every person, this was really a hive mind project, and the three directors, including Craig, brought each to it another layer. Pippa is a scientist, she brought that in, but she also has a delicate eye in the editing room, but she also worked with other editors. And we have to recognize musician also adds a huge amount. And Kevin Svart won IDA Award for the music, which is the top documentary award from the Documentary Association in Europe. So it is a passion project. It does drive the Sea Change project to make sure that we're all looking at our 1,400 kilometers of great African sea forest with new eyes and protection. And out of that love came this brilliant story. And it's a true story, and that authenticity brings so much more. And you asked earlier about what this means for our industry. Our industry needs eyes on it. We're one of the top 10 destinations in the world for filming big projects. But the wildlife has always been happening here. And I hope we get to see more of it, Sally.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that, you know, we know that Cape Town is quite an epicenter for film, but we also know that COVID-19 and the lockdowns destroyed a lot of that. Are we seeing a revival, and do you think this Oscar win is going to bring more attention to Cape Town and the Western Cape for more filmmaking?
Sally, it's a great question. I think we were very blessed that the Command Council allowed filming to take place right from level 4 with the right protocols. And yes, we are seeing production start again. I think the issue is that it isn't over globally. We still see people having problems. So we just are taking it step by step. But as part of the economic recovery, we want this industry, which is an exemplar for the fourth industrial revolution, to just take off again. Before COVID hit, we were estimating at over 10 billion a year turnover in the country. That was from the IPO. The Independent Producers Organization published what was the numbers before COVID. And we know during COVID, many of the big shows had to leave. They were asked to leave because we didn't know how long the emergency would last. But we're starting to see some, it is our winter now, our fall moving into winter, when we normally would be shutting some projects down and planning for next year. So we're hoping for next year in the long days to bring the big projects back. But we also have amazing local production. We have, you know, a lot of Netflix originals happening here, not just documentary. And so we're going to see local production continue even through winter. We have studios And not just in Cape Town and the Western Cape, but the whole country is full of people, young people. This is an amazing industry to employ young people. It can be quick to turn over, so you can see jobs take off quickly. We have amazing animators. We have amazing gamers. And you yourself are in this industry as a professional in the ETV studios.